Welcome back, traders, to today's installment of how I swing trade Euro USD using the volume profile. We're going to pick up from where we left off, and what I've done is I've cleaned up the screen, so we're just going to go ahead and rebuild everything again in the way that it needs to, and hopefully we can begin the journey of discovering new opportunities that we'll be able to capitalize on from today, and will possibly assist us throughout the week commencing from next week, right? So let's just get straight into that. So what I'm going to do is, currently we can all agree that we have Euro USD in somewhat of a channel right now, and it's moving to the upside. You can kind of see it. I don't think I actually need to draw it out, but however, we are going to mark out that area because it is of an area of significant importance to us, right? So here we go, that's all laid out, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay down the channel just in case you can't see it. So we know in this area right now, so this area is a range, right, and price is just broken out of that range right now, and what we're going to do is we're going to focus on this area as to what's happening here, because we may need to consider riding price to the downside, or we may need to consider a continuation and price continues to push to the upside, right? These are the two things that we're going to be discussing in this video. So I hope that obviously you're going to stay tuned and hear what I have to say about that. Now, naturally, this is a swing trading channel, so we're mainly focused on the daily 4-hour higher time frame moves, right? Try to stay away from the 1 hour unless we're talking about potential entries in there. Okay, so I'm just trying to see what is necessary and what is not, because I'm thinking right now, is it necessary for me to highlight this trend zone? I think it is. I think it's relevant. I think it actually is relevant. So we're just going to add a level in here, and we're just going to highlight that. Because I was thinking if it was actually relevant, and it is. It is relevant. And remember, we're on a day right now. We are on a day, right? So that as we do this on a day, we're going to see another opportunity emerge as well, which is we have another channel up here. So I just need to adjust this a little bit. Just need to adjust this a little bit. Just bring this over here a bit. Okay. So just straight off looking at this, we can see that we do have some form of a bias to say that there's a probability price is going to be breaking down. But what I would like to do is offer all options, keep all options on a table, so that if one should go wrong, we're able to tap into the other relatively quickly, right? That's how I actually want to play this game today. So with that said and done, ideally I'm expecting this trend line to go, right? I'm expecting this trend line to go, and I'm expecting price to begin to break down. Now, where is going to start to make sense for me to even consider the probability of actually jumping in with sales is if we have this level right here taken out, okay? And the level that I'm talking about is 1.1300. If that level is taken out, we're looking for sales, and it's just that simple. That's what we're going to do, right? However, if it's not taken out, we will then talk about the other scenario as well. So these are the moves that I'm looking for, and once again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do. These are all things, these are just ideas that I'm sharing with you, and then you're going to decide what makes sense and what doesn't. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to assign a label right here. Okay, so this is our potential sell, right? As a matter of fact, let me make this red. So we know this number means selling, right? And what we're going to do essentially is we need to look at how we will set this whole thing up. So the next thing that I would want to do is say, okay, so where would I want to start to think about taking my TPs if I am in fact actually selling? Okay, so the first thing that I would do from this level right here is, let's just see what makes the most amount of sense. So you could, right, if you were selling from up here, you could actually think and say to yourself, do you know what, let's see the probability of price flying all the way down to this level right here, which is where we have the POC, point of control, right? And that level in question, that would be 1.08660. Okay, so that is what we would be looking at if we was to think about taking a sell. And that's for your stop. You could pull it anywhere above these candles over here. So you could have your stop anywhere over here, right? So it could be on the extreme high, because do you know what? This area, the stops in this area is quite dicey. Reason why I say that is there's too many FEGs in this area, right? So I'm going to leave that to you as to where you could consider putting your stop, right? I will leave that to you because there's too many traps in this area. If I say that and that gets hit, ultimately I'm to be blamed for it because I said it. If I said this area over here and it gets hit also, I too will be blamed for that. And if I say this area and it gets hit, I too will be blamed for that as well. So I'm going to leave the stop up to you. That I do not know where you should put your stop. I mean, I have a rough idea where I would put a stop, but where you would put a stop, that is something that you would need to figure out for yourself. Now, okay, on the bullish side, so this is looking bearish right now, right? If it breaks this trend line, and definitely if it breaks this level. But say it doesn't break this level, right, and it begins to push up, okay, a good area where you could think about putting in your buys would be where I have this level right here. And that is, and we're going to make this blue, and that would be 1.14482, right? So let's just say, let's just round that off to, because I like doing rounding numbers. I think it's just so much better. So let's just do I'm just thinking what makes more sense. Yeah, you put in a nice number for us. So at this level right here, which we've now revised, so we've done it at 1.14500. This is where I would most likely be thinking about putting in my buys, right? And if I am putting in my buys, then essentially I would be looking to hit, I will be looking for my targets to close above this zone right here, right? So above this zone right here is where I will be looking for my trades to ride up to, and naturally we'll be bringing in trailing stops at the appropriate levels to make sure that we're on the right side of things. So the first thing that I would do is I would say I would want my TP to be around this level right here. So I'm going to say let me so I put my TP around here. I'll put my TP right here, okay? And that's how I would play the game. So if you was just to put this on the chart so we could visualize it, it will be something like this. So it would be a decent ratio, Do you know what I mean? So you got 1-to-3 ratio, which is not half bad. Okay, we hold that here, and then if I'm looking for sales, now the selling part is where when I lay this down, you're gonna have to take it with a pinch of salt, because I'm not telling you this is where you should put your stop loss, because I actually don't know. There is a number of traps on this side that could make it quite tricky to get things done. So on the sell side, you're looking at roughly about 1 to 2 risk reward, right? So essentially, these are the approaches that I will take, and these are the conditions that I would wait to break before I did anything, right? Now, as it stands on this side here, we have a bunch of low volume nodes, right? So we've got low volume nodes in this area right here. So in this area right here, this is where I'm expecting price to bounce from. So if you also ask me for my overall bias, I think price is going to push up, supposed to coming down. But at the same time, I also need to factor in the fact that it could come down, right? So hence why we have the buy option and the sell option. So with that said and done, my awesome people from all around the world, if you have found this content useful, make sure you hit the subscribe button, you turn on the notification, and you drop us a like, and I will see you all on the next one.